Hello everybody, so today I'm going to talk about and review the album by the band Iotunn, which was released just yesterday. It's called Access All Worlds. It was released on Metal Blade Records. It's just over an hour long and 7 tracks in length. And this album does not disappoint one bit. I think it's absolutely outstanding. It's outstanding. The musicianship and all the musicians involved in this album is really pretty top notch, I would say. Every track has, even though you get 2 or 3 pretty lengthy tracks on this album, there's not a moment that feels like it stands still for too long. The riffs and rhythms of the guitars are very energetic. They're driven by the changing tempos of the drums, and the bass work is pretty solid as well. The vocals are a real highlight, I think, that give this album that extra bit of oomph, if you like, and dynamic. So you've got the harsh vocals and then these soaring operatic vocals as well, which just add another layer to already fantastic instrumentation. And this is like a kind of sci-fi themed album. I think I don't know too much about the lyrics, I haven't looked into the lyrics yet, but it feels like this is a journey around the universe or something, looking at different sort of fictional worlds maybe, and you do get that feel, and it feels very intense, very dramatic, like there's epic things going on. Obviously the way the singing is sometimes makes it feel like this is a kind of alien race's last gasp or something. It's just fantastic. Yeah, I particularly liked the vocals by John Aldara, but there's a lot of things to compliment from all of the musicians in this band. I think the guitar work was really fantastic. The leads and the rhythms complementing each other with beautiful melodies throughout, and the drumming tempo changes was something I thought I really enjoyed, and gave the music that vibrancy that was really driving it throughout. Interestingly, the album was mixed, I think, by the drummer, or engineered by the drummer, I believe. I read that in the cover on the album, in a little booklet, which is interesting because the drums are pretty prominent, to the point where if I was to have any criticism at all of this album, it was perhaps that the mix didn't feel as clean, so that everything was really, and this album, it's so good that even a slightly, perhaps a mix which isn't slightly imperfect, it still doesn't change the fact that this album is outstanding. It's that good. I think the musicianship is that good. You can just appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, I think if I were to score an album of this kind, recognising the talent and the musicianship that's here throughout, I think the production is good enough that I can't use that too much as too much of a criticism. I would give this album a 9 out of 10. I think it's great, in contrast to the review I did yesterday, which was a bit more negative, shall we say. But this album was really good, and had me engaged with every sort of, I think every musical change gave me a bit of a, oh wow, that was a really good change. Particularly in the longer tracks where you need that. I want to really make a select a couple of highlights for me, or tracks which really floored me. The first 2 tracks were good, but then when that 3rd track came along, that was the track that really said to me, this album is going to be great. I mean, I was floored by that one. I believe the track, I'm going to have to check the track name now, that's bad, isn't it? Layhem's Golden Pits was the one. That was just blindingly good. Waves Below carried on, the quality, I think, and Cosmic Nihility, I think it's called, the Tower of Cosmic Nihility, with some beautiful guitar melodies going in, and guitar leads that reminded me a bit of the guitar leads you get in the Somewhere in Time album, actually, by Iron Maiden in the 80s. I felt there was some reminiscent things, going on there, that reminded me a bit of that album, which was a joy to me because I love that album. And I think here, though, this is an expansive album. It's pushing, it's pushing the genre of progressive metal in a sort of, maybe not a brand new direction, but in a direction which is shows how good it can be when it's done and delivered well, and when, you know, the ambition of the band here is met. It's not over ambitious, it's met by the musicianship, and that doesn't always happen, I don't think, but here it has, and it's come through really well. The last track was the one I think that's perhaps my favourite. It's between Layhem's Golden Pits, I think, and the final track on the album. The final track was just wonderful, and a great way to finish an epic album. I always think, you know, albums like this, they need to be finished off with something which is going to give you, as a listener, the climax that you've been waiting for, and it felt like this last track did that. Even though it's, you know, nearly 14 minutes in length, it delivered that, you know, like you would an orchestral piece of music that's that long. It delivers, and it gives you what you as a listener are looking for, and then some. And yeah, I could gush about this album for quite a while, so I'll have to stop myself, because when you sort of get that feeling, and having given it a few listens, I think I'm pretty confident. You know, this is one of those albums that will be a candidate for people that have listened to the album all the way through. It will be hopefully a candidate for Album of the Year on lots of people's lists. I will do my bit, as I am with this review, I think, in championing this, because this is really, you know, this deserves some attention. I hope it gets attention it deserves within certainly the metal community. Whether that will happen, I guess time will tell, and we shall all see. But yeah, all the elements, all the musicians that put this together have put together a dynamic, a sort of, you know, very sort of quite complex piece of music, but one that is as I say, thoroughly engaging, and it doesn't disappoint. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that review. I would like to review a couple more albums this weekend. It shouldn't be a case that I struggle to find the time, given how much time, you know, we all have, you know, with lockdowns at the moment and everything. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time.